just to recall and remember what we are studying in each episode. So let us see what we are going to study in this part of reproductive system. So what we are going to learn at the end of this lesson. So what we should know, what is reproduction? What are the types of reproduction? What does the term puberty mean? What are the secondary sexual characteristics? What are primary reproductive parts as well as accessory reproductive parts? And we will discuss about the male reproductive system in this lesson. So in the next video or the next episode, we will be discussing about the female reproductive system and the other main important parts of reproductive system. Now, what does this term reproduction means? We already know that reproduction is giving birth to the young one, or we can say that it is a process by which a living organism is able to produce more of its own kind. So as we are going to discuss about human reproduction, so we will discuss about how generally human beings are giving birth to the little babies or the young ones. And in this process, what is happening? The transmission of genetic material, as you have studied in heredity lesson or genetics, a part of genetics, that genetic material is being transferred from one generation to the next. So from the parents to their children, by the process of reproduction, the characteristics of the parents are also carried on to the next generation or to the babies. So this is a main important part of reproduction, when the characters of the parents are being carried on to their next generation, and this continues generation after generation. So what will happen if human beings stop or organisms stop reproducing? So what will happen when this reproduction process stops or ceases? So then there will be no human beings or animals left on earth. So it is mainly a disturbance in our ecological system, or our ecology or our biological balance will be disturbed. So we need to reproduce, or this reproduction process should continue, as all other general physiological processes are all having their own importance. Reproduction is also having its own importance. Now let us see what we are going to study next. Now in this slide, we will be discussing about types of reproduction. So already we have discussed about what is reproduction. So all the living organisms will reproduce to continue their race. Now the first reproduction type is asexual reproduction. So what is it? There is a production of an offspring from a single organism. So here you can see a single organism with a nucleus and a cytoplasm. So there is no fusion of gametes. So the single organism is only dividing into two new organisms. So two daughter cells are being given birth. So this process is in amoeba. So this is called binary fission method. So this is a process which is commonly found in lower plants and lower animals. Now there is no fusion of gametes in this asexual reproduction. Now follow my red pointer here. This is the second type of reproduction, which is called sexual reproduction. Now here this gametes, this egg and the sperm, they unite and a fusion take place. Fusion of genetic material containing of the sex cells happens, and then a zygote is formed which gives birth to a baby, or an embryo is formed which generally after 10 months will form into a full grown baby. So this is the process of sexual reproduction. Now this reproductive organs, they all of a sudden they don't start reproducing. Rather, they need a certain time to get functional. So that is after attaining sexual maturity. So when is the sexual maturity happening? See, this maturity is happening during adolescence. So what is that in which the body attains sexual maturity is called puberty. So there is a definite time or definite years. Like in females it is actually during 12 to 13 years, and in males it will be comes actually late in males than in females. It is 13 to 14 years. Now in both the cases there are several hormonal changes which are occurring in both male and female body. What happens then? There are growth of primary as well as secondary sexual characters. So different types of changes appear in their body, both physiologically and mentally and bodily. So let us see what are the changes which are happening in a male and female body during this puberty or adolescence. Now here let us see what is happening in male body. Generally the testosterone is the hormone which is being secreted by the testes, which is the main reproductive organ in male. What happens? Widening of the shoulders. Now here you can see in this picture that this is a male body, and what will happen? Appearance of beard and moustache will happen. Now growth of axillary and pubic hairs will come. Deepening of the voice. Enlargement of external genital organs as well as sperm formation will start in male. Now whereas what will happen in females? The estrogen and the progesterone hormones which are secreted from the ovary will help to grow axillary as well as pubic hairs. So this is same in both male and female. Now in widening of the pelvis and hip will occur in female. Now what we have seen in male, widening of the shoulders happen. Now here the enlargements of the breast occurs and the onset of menstrual cycle happens. So this menstrual cycle and all we are going to discuss when we start learning about the female reproductive organs. Now today in our lesson we will be studying the male reproductive organ first. So let us see what we are going to study after this. Now in this slide we will be discussing about the primary and the accessory reproductive parts. Now in the male reproductive system, what is the primary reproductive part? It is the testes which produce the sperms, and in female the ovary which produces the eggs or the ova. Now what are the accessory reproductive parts? These accessory reproductive parts include the structures which help in transfer of the sex cells and their fusion, actually leading to fertilization and also growth and development of the egg till the birth of the baby. So this is generally what we call the primary and the accessory reproductive parts. Now next we will discuss about the male reproductive system. So what are the main male reproductive system parts? Let us see a pair of testes. So here are the testes and they are two in number, a pair of testes. Here comes the epididymis, sperm duct is there, urethra, this is the urethra, the accessory glands like the bulbourethral gland which is here, the prostate gland which is here. So these are all the accessory glands. Now here seminal vesicle is also a accessory gland. Vas deferens and epididymis are all parts of testes. Here you can see the duct which is carrying the sperms is called the vas deferens, and epididymis is the coil structure which is on the top of the testes. So the main parts are a pair of testes, epididymis, the sperm duct or vas deferens, urethra over here, this is penis, this is glans penis or the front part of the penis, and the accessory organs like the seminal vesicle, the prostate and the bulbourethral gland. Now this only we will see in detail in the next slides. Now here we have come up with the section of testes. What are these? These are actually the male gonads. A pair of testes are present in male, and in the embryonic stage these two testes they will be inside the abdomen. So they are contained within the abdomen, and as gradually they are born, they descend down just before birth, and the testes are called extra-abdominal structures. Now they are present in a pouch called scrotum. So it is a pouch made up of tissue, thin connective tissue called the scrotal sac or scrotum. You can see the outside sac is called the scrotal sac or the scrotum. Now each scrotum are containing one testes each, and they are divided into two compartments, left compartment and right compartment. And scrotum always acts as a thermoregulator, which actually helps in maintaining the temperature about 2 to 3 degrees lower than the body. So which helps in the development of the sperms. Now let us come to the structure of the testes. Now each testes is encased in a capsule of white fibrous connective tissue. This outside is a capsule of fibrous connective tissue. What is it? It is called tunica albuginea. Now here you can see it is tunica albuginea. Now these all terms you need to remember and memorize with this diagram. And this diagram is very important when you are learning the structure of testes. You should know the label diagram of testes. This is a very important diagram, as well as it is very easy to draw if you remember it step by step. So the outer covering or the capsule which is encasing the testes is called tunica albuginea. Now each testes has highly coiled structures called seminiferous tubules. Now these are all coiled structures inside called seminiferous tubules, which actually are involved in the process of formation of spermatozoa, or they help in the process of spermatogenesis or formation of sperm in the testes. Now between the seminiferous tubules and the connective is the thin layer of connective tissue, which is called interstitial cells, or also called the Leydig cells. Now where it lies? It lies between the seminiferous tubules is the connective tissue in which there are present clumps of interstitial cells or Leydig cells. These cells these Leydig cells, they secrete the male sex hormone or testosterone. These hormones help in the maintenance of, as we have earlier discussed, the primary and the secondary characters. Now next comes the epididymis, or this long tube. Now this is a long 6 centimeter tube. It is highly coiled structure. You can see here the seminiferous tubules are also coiled. Here then next starts the epididymis, which is also highly coiled structure, which remains attached to the testes and lies within the scrotal sac. So scrotum or the scrotal sac is outside this. Okay, now it lies inside the scrotal sac. It stores the sperms, and actually it serves as a passage for their transport from the testes. Now this is the head of epididymis, and this is the body of epididymis, and this is the tail part of epididymis. So 3 parts: head, body and tail. As it is a 6 meter long tube, it should be divided into 3 parts: head, body and tail. Now next comes the vas deferens, or the sperm duct. Now what does it do? Each epididymis, they continue from its lower end as a vas deferens. Now they are ending. Tail of epididymis is ending, and here starts the vas deferens. It enters the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal, passes over the urinary bladder and joins the seminal vesicle through the to form the ejaculatory duct. What is that ejaculatory duct? That is actually, it opens into the urethra and they help into the discharge of the sperm. And this inguinal canal, they actually allow the descent of the testes along with their ducts, nerves and blood vessels. Now next comes urethra. So what is it? The male urethra is actually 15 to 20 centimeter in length, and it is actually a long tube-like structure which is divided into 3 main parts. What are the parts? The anterior, the middle and the posterior part. but the anterior part is called the prostatic part because it passes through the prostate gland, and the posterior part is called the penile part, which passes through the copulatory organ penis. And what is the function of it? Its function is mainly passage of both semen and urine. So this is also an organ which is helping the passage of both semen and urine. So this is called urethra. Now next we are going to discuss about the penis. Now in this slide we will be discussing about penis. What is it? It is the copulatory organ in males. Now you see the pointer. It is a cylindrical, spongy, muscular and highly vascular organ. Now here you see the urethra runs down through it centrally. Now this is the urethra which runs down through the penis centrally, and it serves as the common passage. Just now in the previous slide we have discussed that it acts as the common passage for the exit of both semen and urine. Now it is used as a passage of deposit of sperm in the female genital tract. Now during sexual excitement, what happens? The spongy tissue, these spongy tissues get filled with blood as the arteries dilate, and this condition is known as erection. This is called erection, and externally the penis is covered by a skin, and the tip of the penis is very soft and highly sensitive. This tip part of the penis is called glans penis, and it is covered by a loose retractile fold of skin called the prepuce. Or you can say that it is a skin which is very loose in nature. So this tip is called the glans penis and the skin is called the prepuce. So this is all about this penis, which is the main copulatory organ in male. Now in this slide we will be discussing about few accessory glands. Like here we have seen the seminal vesicle is the accessory gland. The prostate gland is an accessory gland. The bulbourethral gland or the Cowper's gland are the accessory glands. So these are helping the production of sperm as well as the process of fertilization. So what is the function of seminal vesicle? There are a pair of seminal vesicles which are present actually at the base. See here at the base the seminal vesicle is present. So there are a pair which is present in the base of urinary bladder. The function of the seminal vesicles actually is to store sperms and secrete seminal fluid, which is actually alkaline viscous fluid which provides nourishment to the sperms. Now this secretion forms about 40 to 80% of the ejaculate. So what a male person is ejaculating, 40 to 60 or 80% will be this seminal fluid, and sperms get active when they are mixed with this seminal fluid. So is it clear with everyone? So these seminal vesicles are also, they are paired. They are actually secreting a seminal fluid which helps in the nutrition or the nourishment of the sperms, and they are alkaline viscous fluid, and they are only 40 to 80% of the ejaculate contains this seminal fluid. Now next comes here the prostate gland. You can see here, see my pointer over here, it is the prostate gland, and it surrounds the upper part of the urethra. It secretes the alkaline fluid which is discharged into the urethra, and this fluid actually helps to keep the sperms alive, and they are swimming vigorously with the help of this fluid which is secreted from the prostate gland. So is it clear to everyone? Please go through your textbook, whatever textbook you are following, I don't know. Plus please go through it so that you will be clear about this facts. Next comes the Cowper's gland or the bulbourethral glands. Here you can see the bulbourethral gland, very small gland. Now these paired glands lie just below the prostate gland, and they secrete a white viscous alkaline secretion which is resembling as the mucus which acts as a lubricant. So this secretion from the bulbourethral glands acts as a lubricant. Okay, is it clear, everyone? So I think till now whatever I have taught about this male reproductive system and other things related to reproductive system, it is clear to everyone. Please go through it properly, and if you are not understanding even a bit of this part, please let me know, write your comments, post it in the comment box so that I can rectify it or I can explain it in the next session or the next video. So thank you.